Well, breaking news now, and the climate protest group Insulate Britain has apologised for its disruption caused in recent weeks. In a statement, their spokesperson, Liam Norton, said Insulate Britain wishes to profoundly apologise for the disruption caused over the past 3 weeks. We cannot imagine undertaking such acts in normal circumstances, but we believe that the reality of our situation has to be faced. Well, joining me now is the spokesperson for Insulate Britain, Tim Goff. Mr. Goff, why apologise? If you think you need to apologise for it, you just shouldn't have done it in the first place, should you?
Yeah, that's a good question, Adam. Well, we're apologising to the ordinary people of this country for the disruption that's been caused them. We're not really apologising to the politicians because we think that they need to take concrete action just as we've taken concrete action on the streets.
Are you apologising basically because of a court judgment rather than any lasting feelings of regret?
No, nothing to do with the courts at all, no. No, we genuinely do not want to cause disruption to the ordinary people of this country. We feel we have to take the action because no concrete action in relation to climate change and insulating the houses of Britain is being taken by the politicians. It's not being taken by Boris Johnson or the Home Secretary or anybody. So we're apologising to the ordinary people of this country, but we will continue to take actions like this until the politicians also take concrete action to reduce the CO2 output of this country and also to improve the ordinary lives of people of this country by insulating their homes.
Right. So you're apologising for something, but you're going to carry on doing it. You're going to carry on blocking the roads. Is that right?
That's correct. I believe that there are some activists who, despite the current injunctions, are willing to risk jail and unlimited fines in order to try to get across to the politicians the importance of this issue.
But, with all due respect, I failed to see what you think you're achieving. Obviously you're getting some publicity for your cause, but I can't believe, and we saw a lady yesterday who was trying to deal with her sick mother and was blocked by you. I can't believe why you feel inconveniencing the public to this extent in any way increases the popularity of your cause.
Well, it's not so much a question of increasing the popularity. It's a question of bringing it to the attention of the politicians and making them understand that unless they take action, then these sorts of inconveniences and problems will continue because no action is being taken by them. There's lots of policies being mentioned. There's lots of things that Boris is saying, but he's not actually taking leadership and taking concrete action to reduce the CO2 output of this country and improve the ordinary lives of people of this country.
I think you would have to. I would dispute whether the politicians are doing nothing. We've got COP26 coming up. We've got endless fringe meetings, speeches about what they want to do about climate emergency. Politicians are trying to deal with it. What specifically are you holding the motorists to ransom for the government to do? What would the government do this week that would make you all buzz off and find something useful to do?
OK, so just to address the question of whether they're doing anything, you're at the Conservative Party conference. There's lots of talk going on. We want them to walk the walk. Politicians are really great at talking endlessly, but they need to take concrete action, Adam. And the concrete, and I'm going to go back to tell you what the concrete action is, which is,
tell me what concrete action you would like to take, please.
The concrete action is very, very clear. We've been clear from the outset on this. The concrete action is that they commit to insulate the houses of Britain to a zero carbon standard within the next 8 to 10 years, so that it's done by 2030, and we then, at a stroke, deal with all fuel poverty in this country. We deal with 8 to 40,000 people dying from cold every winter. We deal with 15% of the CO2 output of this country at a stroke. That is a concrete action that they need to commit to now, and as soon as they commit to it, we are off the roads.
Right, so in other words, simply saying on a target that they agree with you, that'll be enough to stop it, because that's not actually a concrete action, is it? That's just saying that's what we would like.
No, it's not a target, is it? They have to actually come forward with concrete policies for achieving this. And it's not an easy thing. We're not under any illusions that this is an easy thing to do. If Boris Johnson were to take leadership on this matter and carry out this action that we are suggesting that they do, then he would be revolutionising world politics. He would be standing up as a leader of the world in showing how the UK can move forward on this issue. I mean, after all, the UK invented the Industrial Revolution. We invented carbon emissions in the first place. We led the world on that. So we should now lead the world out of it.
Yeah, but just give me one practical suggestion to achieve your ends that you want the government to adopt that they're not adopting at the moment.
OK, so to be a little bit more concrete about it, if they're going to insulate the houses of Britain in the next 8 to 10 years, then they need to commit some very, very substantial amounts of money to that. It's all about money, isn't it? That's the bottom line. So we would want to see a commitment in monetary terms and not kind of 3 to 6 billion, which is what they've been talking about. We're talking about very, very substantial amounts of money to achieve this, which is why it would be a world leadership act to do it.
And so how much? If it's not 3 to 6 billion, how much?
How much? I reckon it would cost, and I'm an architect, so I know about what things cost in the construction industry. I reckon this would cost between £500 billion and £1 trillion. Let's say £750 billion for the sake of argument. That is an absolutely immense amount of money. It's about 5% of GDP per year, I think, that sort of order amount of money. But then when you compare that with something like quantitative easing, it's less than quantitative easing cost. And what did quantitative easing do after the financial crisis? All it did was inflate the asset prices of the wealthy people. What we're talking about is a concrete policy to not inflate asset prices, but to improve the concrete lives and the concrete homes of the ordinary people of this country. That's what that policy would do.
OK, it's quite a hefty tax bill, though. Thank you very much indeed for that.